Okay, to start off with this class, if you just joined us a second ago, a block would be useful for this class, just something that can help elevate your hips for this first part. If you've got a roll instead, that would be great. Using a bolster for some of the poses today, now the option is you just don't use a bolster, or if you've got two bed pillows, use that. Another alternative is to roll up your yoga mat, so kind of like the rolled up ones in the corner, and then set that down in poses where you would use the bolster, and you've got something roughly the same length, maybe not the same thickness, but it will still work with what we're looking to do today. So to begin with, we're starting cross-legged seated. If that doesn't work for your hips or for your lower back, you can either sit on top of the block or lay down on your back so that you're taking the pressure out of the hips. Because obviously in this position, we're in a flexed hip position. For some of you, that is a little bit problematic in the morning or just problematic in general. Laying down will allow you to be in a very neutral pelvis and maybe a better place for you to start off today's class. So see what feels appropriate, take a moment to choose somewhere, and then be in that place. So this class is called Gentle Flow, and I've mentioned before that the onus is really on the practitioner to make the very best healing choices. So right now, your first healing choice always is to do a deep breath. So any of the scenarios that come up in today's practice where you feel flummoxed or things are really starting to move, switch your deep breathing back on. Usually it's one of the first things to go when you start to feel a bit flighty. So whether you are supine or seated, close your eyes and begin a really buoyant breath. So one that is stretching not only the chest but also the abdomen. If you know that in your movement practices you work with bandhas and rigidity in the abdomen and the pelvic floor, I want you to just set them aside for now. If you start to feel a sense of panic that these familiar friends aren't there, treat it like a coat at a restaurant. You're gonna get it at the end, so you can always pick up your jacket on the way back out. So you can always pick up those bandhas on the way out of the practice. But for today, they're not massively relevant. Aim to do an inhale for a count of 5, and then exhale for a count of 7. So a gradual lengthening of the exhalation. And use breathing like this to get in feeling in your body. Ask internally, what do I need for my practice today? And genuinely keep asking until you get an answer. And if you're expecting some sort of profound moment of revelation, like today I need to go out and heal the world, start with something like, my ankles are sore. I need to find a way today of doing the poses where I won't strain or stress them. So maybe that means laying on your back instead of cross-legged. It is working in that way. Now, if that is feeling already like a realm that you are familiar with, then the second part of your intent is to ask, can I do this in a way that feels good? And being very honest if you know that you are an intensity junkie about whether it is feeling good or whether it's feeling difficult and challenging. So are you chasing that rush of adrenaline by working hard, which, if you signed up for a Gentle Flow class, is already quite confusing, or whether you can begin to enjoy a softening of the edges. Now at the top of your inhale and at the bottom of your exhale, begin to add a pause, like a grace note. So in music, when you hear a grace note, it almost emerges and then disappears, all on its own. So it's like a little accidental sound that just comes in and then fades. I want you to treat this pause at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale like that. So rather than it having a defined start and a defined finish, which is a form of breath retention work called kumbhaka, I want it to be a real soft, so inhale, pause, and then an exhale, pause. And this is called Spinal, right? Very different form of pranayama. And so seated people, maybe you are allowing yourself to move a little bit. Maybe your body needs a bit of side to side or a little bit of forwards and back, or even rolling your shoulders. You can do breathing exercises plus feeling the movement. There are movements that lend themselves to inhalations, movements that lend themselves to exhalations. Similarly, if you're on your back, I quite enjoy a rocking side to side, so feeling how the shoulders feel as they start to work. Same in the hips, letting the hips do a little bit of a rock side to side, like a little sacral swing. Or if you're on your back, the feet can be flat with the knees going a little bit side to side. So first question, how can you do this in a way that works with what you feel you need today? And if you've already got that covered, can you do this in a way that feels good? So almost seeing this pranayama as the appetizer. Without it, the rest of the practice seems shallow and without refinement. At least in my experience of it. If you're on your back, after your next exhalation, roll to your left, bring yourself up towards seated. If you are seated, change the cross in your legs. I'm still sitting on the block, so if you wish to, you are welcome to do that. Remembering gentle flow is meant to feel gentle rather than strenuous. If you've got your back against the wall, you do need a wee bit of space for this next component. Take the arms down by your sides, palms face back. Draw your shoulder blades back and then press the palms back. So you're working a little bit of crowd control, reaching with the hands and actively spreading the fingers and the arms. Inhale, turn the palms forwards, reach the arms up, lift the ribcage up, very slightly look up. Exhale, arms come down, turning the thumbs to point down, squeeze the shoulder blades back. So we're getting a little bit of a scooping forwards action in the chest. Inhale, rotating the palms inwards, lift the chest up, lift the head up. Exhale, bring the arms down, squeeze shoulder blades back. Inhale, take the palms up, lift chest up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Inhale to take your arms forwards and clasp the hands. Palms are facing you. I'm going to turn side on for this part. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, send the mid back, and then allow the pelvis to move. So you're creating that curve. This can still be done on the block. Inhale, turn the palms to press forwards, thumbs point down, and then lift up. Taking a little bit of an arc into the back, head lift slightly. So a seated cat with wrist variations. Exhale, round into the back. Inhale, palm press forwards, sweeping the arms forwards and up. Exhale, round into the back. Belly pulls in, so you're getting that almost like matrix style dodge. Inhale, sweep the palms up. Exhale, round into the back, chin tucks. Inhale, lift. Relax your arms. Change the clasp of your hands to the more awkward clasp, so the other finger set on top. Take the hands to the back of your skull, so not your neck. Sometimes we work with that. We go for the back of your skull. Lift the chest, so all the way between your shoulder blades is lifted rather than rounded. Tuck your chin and let your arms be heavy. So your aim is you're getting this stretch coming into the back of the neck. I like to almost pull the tissue from the scalp up towards the crown. Actively reach the elbows forward so you're in a protracted shoulder blade position. Then take a wee bit of movement side to side through the head and neck. So turning the head a little bit left, a little bit right. Maintain a steady breath as you navigate your relationship with your neck Rice Krispies. Inhale, release the hands down, lean the shoulders back and let the head and shoulders come up. Now this next thing is a little bit odd, so we're just making checking neck positions. So this posture of shoulders sitting in front, head falling forwards, and then this sort of craning in the neck is one that I see a lot. I think it's one of the reasons that I'm still teaching yoga is that there will always be that posture. So what I want you to do here is lift your head, Stick your chin forward, so you're still in anterior head carriage, sending the chin forwards. Exhale, pull your chin back, so you're doing like mega chin. Inhale forwards. Exhale, pull the chin back for mega chin. Inhale forwards. Exhale, pull back. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. All right. You're moving on to all fours. If you need to pad the knees, do so. The aim in this all fours is to start to warm the wrists up a little bit, so just take it easy with this. Remember, the onus is on you to make this comfortable. So find a way to a tabletop position that works well for you. Turn the hands outwards, and I want you to relax your hands. You'll probably feel, with the hands relaxed, that the weight is predominantly into the heel of the hand. I want you to grip with your fingers and shift the weight onto the base of the fingers. So instead of the weight being in the heel of the hand, it's in the base of the fingers and the fingertips. And then take a little bit of a glide side to side. So not thinking inhale, left, exhale, right, just simply maintaining a steady breath. Have the head lifted rather than dropped. Little bit of a chin tuck, but not mega chin. So you're getting this glide side to side. Take a deep breath in the middle. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades back without bending the arms. Inhale, lift between the shoulder blades. So working between a protracted and retracted shoulder blade. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades back. Inhale, lift between the shoulders and push the floor away so you get that spread in the upper back. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades back, fingers still gripping. Inhale, lift between the shoulders. Exhale, squeeze shoulders back. Inhale, lift between the shoulder blades. Have a little look forwards. Take the hands forwards a little bit from your shoulders. Index finger is pointing forwards from a spread palm, and grip the fingertips into the mat. Weight in the base of the fingers, so the knuckle region. Inhale, shift your hips back. Exhale, shift forwards and let the hips come down towards more of a plank position, but without dropping the hips down. So you want to feel like your butt is still sticking out. Inhale, glide back. Exhale, forwards. You're just getting a feel for the weight distribution. Inhale, shift back. Exhale, forwards. Inhale, shift back. Now pause. Bend your elbows and have the elbows pointing out towards the sides. Without changing your hand position, spin the elbow bones towards the back of the mat so the forearms are paralleling. Starting to feel for a lift in the shoulders. So this is us starting to speak to the lats and the serratus. Triceps are already speaking, giving really good support through the shoulder girdle, hard to say that, to best support your wrists. Inhale, shift forwards, thinking elbows above the hands. Elbows are wrapping, but they're not squeezing the ribs. Inhale, glide back. Exhale, forwards. So these are quite intense. Inhale, back. Exhale, forwards. Inhale, shift back. Take the knees a bit wider. Bring your feet together. Take the right hand forwards a little bit further so that you can feel that you're starting to get into this extended position, but not yet. Take your left elbow down to the middle of your mat. Take your left hand towards your right underarm and shoulder. Lower your chest down until you can get a hold of the tissue around that right shoulder blade. You might need to wriggle into it to see if you can get a hold of the inside edge of your shoulder blade. Then pull. This is going to help wrap that shoulder blade towards the underarm, and then sit back towards a child's pose. So if your knees aren't happy with that, you can do this more as like a puppy press, where the hips are a little bit more above the knees. As your comfort dictates, maybe you're starting to work on pulling on the lats. So even if it feels like you're just pulling on skin, that's still what we're kind of looking for here. Right shoulder is wrapping. If you want a little bit extra, turn your right palm to face up. So you're increasing that action. Switch deep breathing on. Inhale, release the left hand, come back onto all fours. Now, wrists and shoulder sensitive, sit the weight back a little bit towards your heels, but take care that you aren't rounding in your lower back. So thinking, if you've done this exercise with me before, wherever your pelvis is in relation to your thighs, you're aiming to keep that curve in the lower back And if you do start to round in, you've gone far enough. So some of you it might be shoulders above wrists, some of you will be a bit further back. Set the right middle finger so it's straight down. Inhale, turn your chest but not your pelvis to the right. Exhale, bring the arm down. So if your hips lean to the right, you're probably twisting from your pelvis. I'm looking for you to get the muscles from your shoulders to your mid-back speaking. Inhale, twist to the right. Exhale, bring that arm down. Inhale, twist. Exhale, bring that down. Inhale, twist. Exhale, down. Last one. Inhale, lift. Now this time, exhale, bring that right arm underneath your left or thread the needle. If you're sitting your hips back, you can still work this, but the left hand will need to move back. If you're doing this in tabletop, your left hand is probably in a good position already. Press with your left palm and get the weight even through the knees. As you're navigating this, check in. Are you working this in a way that aligns with your personal intent of what you want to get out of this class? And if you know that that's the one that you've already got down, are you doing this or can you do this in a way that feels good? One of the first things that you can do to make that step is deepen your breath. If you can't breathe in the pose, consider that for now, you might have gone a wee bit too far. Inhale, bring yourself back through center, so back onto all fours. Do you remember everything? Take the left hand a little bit out in front. Right elbow is coming down to the middle of the mat. Aim to grab a hold of your left underarm. Maybe you can grab a hold of your left shoulder blade. Get the chest facing down and then sit the hips back, so either towards more of a child's pose, wrapping that shoulder, or more of a puppy pose, chest coming down. To increase the external rotation, you can work with the left palm facing up and see if that helps you. Right hand is doing a little bit of an assist, so this is how to do hands-on assists without a teacher present to help you with that shoulder. Neck is relaxed, whichever version of this you're working. Inhale, release that right underarm, left underarm. Come back onto all fours. Again, some of you will sit the hips back a little bit more. Left hand is coming down, so you're pointing the fingertips down. Inhale, turn the chest left, so you're turning the upper back, but not leaning the hips left. Exhale, bring the arm down, chest faces down. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale up. Exhale, bring it back. Two more. Inhale up. Exhale, back. Inhale up. Exhale, bring it back. Take this left arm underneath the right, threading the needle, coming down onto your left shoulder. Right palm presses to help roll the right ribs to the right. Put a wee bit more weight into the right knee. You can also do this working your hips back towards your heels to see if that is a more comfortable rest position. So see what feels relevant. If you know other variations with the arms and it still is working within the confines of does this feel good and working with the area that you are working on, what the area that needs something, then feel free to do it. If it pushes you to the point you can't breathe and it's uncomfortable and makes you unhappy, then why is it being done in the first place? Especially if you treat your yoga like some kind of penance for whatever happened at the weekend. Okie doke. Inhale, bring yourself up from there. From that place, swing your legs around towards cross-legged and just take them forward. So I see a lot of times in gentle flow, there's a lot of poses where there's a lot of like folding forwards and a lot of like limp noodly stuff. I think you can treat a pose as if it exists on a spectrum where yes, it is still creating a stretch. For example, a double-legged forward bend. Instead of it being like a wet rag dropped over a chair, it is still active, but it doesn't need to be high octane. It doesn't need to be your deepest, doesn't need to be your most thorough. Because I feel like these draped places, we're looking for change to happen, but not really putting in any of the work or the effort to do it. We're sort of waiting for the force of gravity to try and do some postural change. And especially around the shoulders and upper back, there needs to be some movement and some switching on of muscles, which we've already done quite a bit of so far. So in this next piece, you're going to do an inverted cat exercise. Don't panic. So from where you are, set your feet flat so the legs are bent at about a 90-degree angle. Their angle does not really matter so long as it's not less than 90 degrees. Hands come behind you, so you're at about a 45-degree position. Fingers can point forwards, or wrist sensitive, fingers point out to the side. So just see what feels more comfortable. Remember that upper back arch from earlier. Instead of letting your lower back move, let the shoulders come up, roll the shoulder heads forwards and lean your back and let the head come forward. So this is our exhale component. Inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades back, lift the chest, lift the torso, and then lift the head. So it's a lot of muscular recruitment. Exhale, round into the upper back, sit the head forwards. Inhale, scoop the chest forwards and up. Exhale, round into the back. So you're allowing the upper back to round. Head is going forward, so we're creating that extra movement in the head and neck. Inhale, lift the chest. Shoulder blades squeeze back. Even bending the elbows can help you with a bit more of the activation. Exhale, round into the upper back. Inhale, scoop chest forwards and up. All right. Turn the fingers so they point straight back. Take a wee bend in your elbows. And then start to bum walk forwards. Not gonna lie, it's kind of my favorite. Hypermobiles, if your arms have locked straight, you're gonna be in a very uncomfortable position very soon. Have them bent and just get a feel for where can you go where there is a stretch in the chest and the front of the shoulder that feels good, rather than just trying to show the nobody that is there how far you can go. You might find if you pick up your pelvis, you can kind of tuck the tailbone under a little bit more. So find somewhere that there's a chest stretch where you're getting some sensation, but it doesn't need to feel massively arduous. Maybe it does feel arduous. Squeeze the hands towards your butt, so you're pulling with the arms. Inhale, move yourself back. Give the arms a little bit of a shake, especially if you're not used to those positions, because they can feel very challenging. And today isn't a shoulder focus, but we are doing some movement to create that flow element. I want you to watch your abdominal. It's very easy to make this abdominal not an abdominal and just be like a thrashing octopusy mess. So how this is going to work. You'll be starting with a single knee to chest, coming into a twist. Now, it is important in the twist, instead of just your thigh moving, so my pelvis has not moved, my thigh has moved, and being like, I'm in a twist. You're not in a twist. No part of you is in a twist. The pelvis has to move. So it might mean that you've put something, maybe your block, your bolster, underneath this leg. Now it is this arm. This arm is going to come around in an arc. So bringing it around, exhaling towards the leg, inhaling to lean it back. Now if you need extra support, if you take the right hand behind the head, it actually automatically brings you up onto there, engaging the obliques, reaching around, and then leaning it back so you get that release of the obliques. I find these particularly interesting when it comes to abdominals that maybe you haven't done before. Okay, come on down onto your back. Send your right leg towards the front of the mat. Left knee is in at your chest. As you draw the leg in, your hip might appreciate a little bit of space to the side. Without extending the leg, push your leg up against your hands for the entire inhalation. Exhale, draw the leg in a little bit more. Inhale, press the leg up. Exhale, relax that so the leg eases in. Inhale, push. Exhale, relax. Inhale, push. Exhale, relax. Laying down spinal twist. Take the arms out to the side, either arms bent or arms straight. Exhale, carry that left leg over to the right. You might find adjusting the pelvis by moving it to the left a couple of inches can help you with this. Maybe you're putting props underneath the leg. Be here for a moment. You're welcome to use the right hand on the left leg to help create a little extra draw. Just be aware of compression at the inside of that left hip. Aiming to avoid that. Now you can either do this with the right arm out to the side, or if you're a little nervous around lower back things or shoulder and neck things, take the right hand and take it behind your head, so the right elbow's out to the right. Inhale, reach the left arm towards the back of the mat. Exhale, left arm is going to the right, so you end up facing the right side of your mat. So your aim is to make a circle that traces towards the front of your mat, squeezing left ribs towards left hip. Inhaling, left arm opens out to the left, chest lays down, so you're back in the twist position. Exhale, make that circle around, so you're leaning to the right as you reach the arm over, inhaling to lean it back. Exhale, come up, sweeping to the right. Inhale, lean it back. Exhale, bring it around. I'm on the creakiest floor ever. Inhale, lean it back. Okay, bring your left knee back into your chest. Be aware if you moved your pelvis, you need to do a reset there. Take a hold of the back of your left thigh. So left knee is still in at the chest. Work the leg straighter. Be aware we haven't really done anything for your hamstrings and legs yet. Begin to flex and point the foot, simply maintaining a steady ujjayi breath as you do so. Left side of pelvis has a tendency to ride up towards the left low ribs. Slide that down so you feel a bit more level as you begin to tease and warm up the lower leg. Particularly useful work for those of you that get any aggravation around the knees. Turn that into ankle circles, aiming to make them as big and as thorough as possible. Then the other way. I always find these create like a sense of fatigue to the muscles, to the outside of the left shin. Alright, bring that leg down, bring your right knee into your chest. So not going straight into the twist yet. Inhale, press the right leg up against your arm, so a little bit of an SI joint reliever. Exhale, ease the leg in towards you. At that place, inhale, press the leg up, so push, push, push. Exhale, relax through the hip. Inhale, press the leg away, last one. Exhale, relax that. Laying down spinal twist. Arms come out to the side. Exhale, carry that right leg over to the left. Perhaps setting the leg onto some props. Perhaps adjusting how the left side of your pelvis is resting against the ground. Take a few deep breaths here. Maybe left hand is assisting to draw the right leg down. Maybe you're putting some props underneath the right thigh, right shin rather. Do your breathing in a way that feels good. Remembering first healing choice is to do that very thorough breath followed by another, not just one as a special occasion. Moving into this twisting abdominal. Take the left hand behind your head. So you can do it without that. You can do left hand over to the left. If you feel like you need neck support, this is a good one for that. Arm is reaching towards the back of the mat, so right arm back of the mat. Exhale, reach it over to the left. I'm hitting everything. Come up towards your hips, so you're engaging right side obliques. Inhaling, rolling the right ribs open and leaning back. Exhale, make that circle. Inhale, roll it open. Exhale. Inhaling to roll open. Exhale. 2 more. When you're finished, inhale, bring that right leg back into chest, hold on to the thigh, work the leg so it's a bit straighter, so you're feeling a little bit of pressure in the back of the leg, and then begin to alternate flexing and pointing, getting the toes involved in that flexion point. Take care, right hip has a tendency to ride up towards the right ribs. Go ahead and level out through the lower back. Then begin to make circles with that ankle. So still feeling for that tension point in the hamstrings. Then reverse it. So again, feeling that sense of relief, or maybe just working the outside of that leg. Set both feet to the floor. Interlace your fingers behind your head. Lift your head and shoulders up for a moment. Take the feet so they are mat distance apart. Take the angle of the legs so they are about 90 degrees. Then come onto the heels. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, send both knees to the left. So your aim is to feel that the right thigh is turning inwards, right side of the pelvis is up. and then lay the head back down. Take a few rounds of deep breathing here. I find it useful to do a little bit of tuck tailbone and tilt pelvis, almost feeling for this like swirling around the hips before we do any weight bearing through the legs. Inhale, bring the knees back up through center. Curl your head and shoulders up. Exhale, send legs to the right. Left leg is turning inwards. And lay the head down. So either here you can be static or you can move by doing a little bit of tuck tailbone towards the front of the mat, a little bit of tilt pelvis, so sticking the butt out a little bit. So tuck tailbone, for those of you that aren't sure of it, your aim is to almost curl your butt towards the back of your knees. So you're creating that additional posterior tilt. And then the opposite, sticking your butt out, you're tipping the front of the pelvis forwards, creating that anterior tilt. So shifting between those two. So curl butt and stick butt out, those two. So tuck tailbone and tilt is just the languaging that I use. Inhale, bring the knees up through center. Curl your head and shoulders up. Looking at your legs, take a deep breath in, feet flexing. Exhale, rotate the knees wide, head and shoulders stay up. So it's active, so you're not just flopping. Inhale, bring the knees back in through center, toes point up. Exhale, actively rotate the knees wide. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, rotate, feet are flexing. Inhale, knees through center. Exhale, rotate. Inhale through center. Lay the head down. Bridge. Set the feet so the heels are underneath the knees. You can check this by reaching the hands down to touch the feet. If you feel like you can touch them, great. If you can't, but they're as close as you can get them, then we can work with that. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears, palms face up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press into your feet, curl tailbone up, and then lift pelvis. So aiming to create a lift that feels sensible. So you might find today is a low bridge, so some engagement in the legs, maybe kind of hanging the sacrum down. Maybe you're going for engagement. So maybe this is a class for switching things on. Some of you might appreciate putting the block to the inner thighs, so the inner upper thighs, to create that switching on in the legs. Reconnect. So working this pose in a way that aligns with what you want to get out of today's practice, but also doing this in a way that feels good. And also having some thought for the future. So if you're in wheel, for example, and you're thinking, this feels great, maybe it won't feel great later. We have not warmed anything up for real. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower down through your shoulders, mid-back, low back, and then set pelvis down. If you don't have your block or your roll handy, get them, but then come back down onto your back. You're going to lift into a very mini bridge and put the block or the roll underneath your sacrum, so not underneath your lower spine, but underneath the pelvis, and then simply extend the legs forwards. If this doesn't feel good, you can always do this completely flat to the ground. Just see what works. Feet are flexing so that the knees aren't dropping down, but reach the ball of the foot towards the front of the root, so it creates a bit of a back traction. For a greater sense of back traction, if you put your hands onto the block or whatever props at your sacrum and push, you can effect a tractioning out for the lower back and a wee bit of expansion in the chest. So just a way that you can sort of mechanically assist these back traction elements. Take another deep breath in here. Exhale, bring one leg back and then the other. Press into both feet. Remove any props and lower the back down. Roll to your right. Use your arms to come up from the ground. Right hand on the side of the head brings your head up. Your aim is to be in a cross-legged seated position. If that means that you need some support for your back, with where this pose is going, I recommend wedging the block against your sacrum so that it holds you up rather than sitting elevated, because you need the space for this. Take your right palm, turn the fingers in towards your hip, and then sit on that palm. So you'll find your forearm is lining up with the widest part of your thigh. Inhale, lift chest. Exhale, lean the left ear towards the left shoulder. Draw your shoulders down, relaxing into the neck. Create almost a more exaggerated breath than what you have been working. So using this exaggerated breath to open up around the right collarbone, the right trapezius. The left hand can either add additional weight to the side of the head, to the right side of the head, or you can use it to massage into some of those tight areas that needed your attention today. If you're doing the massage is really quite simple. Does it feel good? Yes, do it. Does it feel bad? Yes, maybe don't do it. In fact, you can apply that lens to your entire yoga practice. If you've got the hand on your head, tuck the chin straight down. Use the left hand on your forehead, lift your head up. Take that right hand out, changing the cross in your legs. Take the left hand, turning the fingers inwards, palm faces down, underneath that left hip. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, relax right ear towards right shoulder. Left shoulder is drawing a little bit downwards, not a massive movement. Either taking the right hand onto the left side of the head to add additional weight, or taking your hand across onto your left shoulder and working some massage. You can do like full palm squeezes. You can work in with the fingertips, which is either a hook and draw, or you can work glides, as long as it isn't like burning the skin. The chances are, if you're working with your fingers and you've gotten into a good spot, you're probably no longer doing deep breathing. Recommit to that. Stay in the pose, lift up through your low spine so you've got that extra postural support. Alright, release the right hand down, take the hand onto your forehead once your head is down, and then lift your head up. Sit onto the block for the next component. So if you have a block, sit on something, it helps you be a bit more upright. Send your legs forwards, so your aim sitting on the block is so that you can be a little bit more up on your sit bones, so the lumbar curve is there, rather than sort of being in this sort of rounded, scooped under position. So you might find that knees bent works better, you're taking the pressure off your hamstrings, so you can be there rather than here, where all this tight stuff is pulling the positioning underwards. Bring your right leg in towards you, plant the foot underneath the knee, hands on the shin. So this is a replication of what we did earlier. Some of you might be comfortable with the left leg straight. Any discomfort, simply bend that. You can also rotate it. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pull with your arms and then lift up. So your aim is to lift so you feel like you're getting up onto the sit bones. Inhale, soften. Exhale, pull. So you're flexing into that hip. Inhale, soften. So like right in here, you're starting to work. Exhale, pull to lift. Inhale, soften. Exhale, pull to lift. Release that leg forwards, change legs. So remember, left heel can be underneath the knee, or alternatively, you can also bend that right leg. Deep breath in. Exhale, pull with your arms so you're able to get your lats engaging and lift the chest. Inhale, ease into the hips a wee bit. Exhale, pull to lift. Inhale, soften. Exhale, pull. Head is up. Inhale, soften. Exhale, pull. All right. Now, for the next piece, some of you are going to stay sitting on the block, so especially if your lower spine feels really growly, or you know that your SI joints tend to take control in your twists, or you're going to work this with the legs straight. Bring the right leg in. So you might find that the leg is at more of a 90 degrees, so you're less likely to roll back. Some of you might feel comfortable bringing that heel back, so long as you're still very upright. Take the right hand behind you on fingertips. If you're on the block, palm on sacrum is going to be more useful unless you can reach the floor. Left forearm comes around the shin. Inhale, do that pull and lift the rib cage up like we did in the previous exercise. Exhale, turn the chest to the right. Doing that chin pull, so you get mega chin, and lift up through the back of your skull. Press down into your right foot as if you intend to stand on it. Now, if your right hip has traveled backwards, draw it forwards. Use this right shoulder action that we've been working on a lot today, and use it to help generate your twist. Maybe the hand snakes over to the left side of your mat to create a little bit more movement. Inhale, bring yourself back, change legs. So getting a feel, can you get up onto those sit bones? So this pose, Dandasana seated staff, is actually a really challenging pose. There's a lot going on. So left leg is coming in. Take the left hand behind you, beyond the fingertips, and lift up. Left side of sacrum is forward, so you feel like your butt is level. Exhale, wrap your right forearm around your shin and pull with it. That right shoulder is pulling down. Inhale, lift the ribcage. Exhale, squeeze left shoulder blade back to help facilitate the twist, using the muscles from your mid-back up to help generate that, rather than your left hip drawing back and curling under. Inhale, press into the left foot, lift chest. Exhale, pull belly muscles in as you turn the chest to the left, shoulders and shoulder blades down. Deepen your breath. Inhale, come back to center, straighten your legs forwards. Be nearer to the front of your yoga mat. Take your feet so they are wider than mat width, legs are bent 90 degrees. Doing a quick debris check side to side so that you can do this next part. I recommend a few different angles here. So this positioning, this sort of like 45-degree brace, is useful if you're tighter in the hips, and that flexed hip position is challenging. Some of you might be able to be here, so flexed hip position is much more comfortable. Some of you might be able to be here, where you're able to be lifted, but it's using a lot more of your back and your hip muscles. So be attentive, choose what will work for you. Deep breath in. Exhale, send both knees to the left, turn your chest to the left and towards the back of the mat, and set the hands down. Take the left hand further back, right arm comes underneath the left, setting the right forearm down, maybe coming down onto the shoulder. Inhale, come back up, so pressing into the hands, knees come up through center. Exhale, send the knees to the right, hands walk around towards the back, right arm reaches back. Exhale, thread the left arm underneath the right. This is an oddly deep twist, this one. Inhale, start to come up. All right, now your aim, so if you watch for a sec, is to turn this into a flow. I go right. So you're doing an inhale to move and exhale to move. I'm going to show you the hands down version. So it is inhaling here, exhaling around. Inhaling, hands are assisting the movements. Exhaling around. Inhaling up, so it can be as many hand switches as necessary. Now, some of you will work that version, and it doesn't need to be fast. It can be maybe more than one breath per movement. If you're in this central position and your aim is to feel, can you create moments of buoyancy? Where you're coming around and kind of getting a feel for the movement, but without necessarily the touchdown of the hands too much. So you're going to do 2 to the left, 2 to the right, so obviously left, right, just so you can get a feel for this. You can go as slow as you need to, so maybe you do 1. Okay, so as there are different options, I can't really regulate your breath on that, so it's 2 rounds. So a little bit twisty, a little bit hippie. When you're finished, come onto all fours. From your all fours position, you're going to be doing range of movement, functional range work with the hip. So particularly useful. So come onto all fours. If hands under shoulders is growly for you, take the hands a bit further forwards. Make sure you're still doing that gripping action with the fingers. Flex your right foot. Inhale, lift the right leg, have it parallel to the floor, hips level, but without collapsing in your lower back to make it seem as if the leg has gone really far. So the abdomen is pulling in, right leg is lifted. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the knee down, but don't stop it down. I want you to squeeze the knee in towards your chest, but without moving your low spine or ribs. Inhale, open the right knee out to the right. Exhale, take the leg up and back, knee points straight back. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the knee downwards and in. Inhale, open out to the side. Exhale, taking it back. So you're going to make a smooth circle. Exhale, knee is coming downwards and in towards the chest. Inhale out to the side and sweeping it back. All right, 3 on the other side. Inhale to lift your left leg. Square the hips, lift between the shoulders, look forwards, whoever that guy is. Exhale, bring the knee down. You're gonna have to come up with some different names. Inhale, take the left leg out to the left, but without lifting your left buttock. Exhale, leg is going back. Add that thing to bring the leg in. Deep breath in. Exhale, knee downwards. Inhale, open the leg out to the side. Exhale, take the leg back. Lift between the shoulders, make sure you're not dropping your head. Deep breath in, last one. Exhale, bring the leg down, in towards your chest. Inhale, open the left leg out to the left. Exhale, rotate the leg up and back and set the knee down. Knees are still hip distance apart. Come down onto your left elbow. So taking the left elbow so it's in line with your right hand, but take more of the weight onto your left elbow and forearm. Inhale to reach the right leg back. Turn the right hip up. So you're getting a feel for right hip stacking on top of the left, reminiscent of half moon, and then lift that right leg. Flex the foot. Inhale, scoop your rib cage towards the front elbow, so left elbow, but pull low belly muscles in. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring the right knee towards your right upper elbow. Right upper elbow, do you have a lower elbow? I suppose your knee. Inhale, lift the leg up. I'm getting like random limb verbal diarrhea. Exhale, bring the knee towards your right elbow, the only one. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, bring the knee towards your elbow. Inhale, lift. Now, bend the leg in the air, roll the hip open, and see if it feels good for you to sit your hips back. You might feel better keeping the hips up. Very slightly lean the head and neck back, so a bit of a back bend. Inhale, set the right knee down, come back up onto all fours, trading elbows. Right forearm is coming down. Shift the weight over onto that right side. Inhale, send the left leg back. Turn the left hip atop the right, and then lift that left leg. So making sure the weight is mostly on the right forearm. Drive through the heels, so you're getting that firming up of the buttock muscles. Exhale, bring the left knee towards your left elbow. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, knee to elbow or armpit. Inhale, lift. Exhale, knee to elbow or armpit. Inhale, lift. Now with that leg up, bend the leg in the air. And then feel for whether it's comfortable to sit the hips back. Just see what feels good. If that's weird on your right knee, then don't do it. It might feel good for you to lean your head and shoulders back, a little bit of a back bend, scorpion element. Inhale, set the knees down. Wrist sensitive, remember part of your commitment is to do the poses in a way that feels good, but also addressing areas of need. So if it's wrist day for you, do this next pose as dolphin hands clasped. Alternatively, you'll be working it as downward facing dog. Now what's happening in the feet? I'm going to show you this way. In the feet, there's going to be a lifting up and then a pivoting. So the same sort of one leg internally rotated, one leg outwardly rotated, and a lean with a push with the arms. So it is a pivot side to side, and it creates a side bend like action through your lower back, plus these inward and outward rotations in the thighs, which I find quite interesting. So either down dog or dolphin. I'll do it in dolphin in solidarity for my other dolphin folks. Inhale, lift up between the shoulder blades, pressing down through the forearms. Exhale, squeeze chest muscles, tuck toes, lift knees up. This can also be done legs bent. Inhale, lift up to tiptoes. Exhale, swing the heels to the right. Press down into your left elbow or left hand.
Inhale, bring the knees up to center. Exhale, send the knees over to the right, the left rather, the other way. Push down into your right elbow. And you know there's a right in there somewhere. Inhale through center. Exhale, set your knees down and then sit up. Come up onto all fours. Now for the next piece, you can have your bolster present if you wish. Two ways that you can use it. You can either put it underneath the pelvis, which can be useful if you're working with knee stuff, or underneath the torso, perhaps even with the assistance of a block. So just get a feel for what you need. You can also do this completely without. So from an all fours position, if you are using the bolster, it's in front of you. Pigeon, exhale, left leg is coming forwards, right leg is going back. Now you can, to get the abdominal pressure, put the bolster over your shin so the abdomen is on the bolster, and then coming down. If you want more support for the head and neck, you can prop up the bolster there, maybe even turning the head. Another alternative for hippie issues is having it underneath the sit bones, pressing down through the left leg and getting a feel for where you can get to, bringing the chest down where there's no aggravation in the knees. So the pelvis doesn't need to be on the ground at all. You can also, if you feel like there's too much faff to use items, you can also come down into pigeon forward bend. I recommend right toes tucked so that any rotation on the right knee can be worked to point the toes downwards. We spoke earlier about this being like loosey-goosey. Aim to have a little bit of a forward action in the chest, backward action through the hips. So pelvis moving towards the back of the mat. And check inside. Can you do this in a way that feels good? Or are you doing it in a way because you've been told it feels a certain way and just doing it that way? What if you experiment to do it in a way that actually genuinely feels good? Maybe even calling on some of the knowledge of, if you've been at class and you've had an adjustment here, what was the adjustment and can you do it to yourself? The answer may genuinely be, nope, I have no idea how to do that, which is fine. All right, inhale, come up on the head. It doesn't need to be glamorous as you change sides, just simply change sides. So it might be propped, might not be propped. So if you're using the props, I like to have it over the shin bone because then I can use an expansion of the abdomen to create pressure changes in the lower and upper back. So you create that sort of like rhythm of movement with abdominal pressure. That always feels pretty good. If you're not using any props, you come down onto the elbows. Arms are pulling a bit like cobra. Left heel is driving back, so the knee is off the floor. My thighs just hang down. It's a problem. Instead of coming back through tabletop, lean over to the right, swing your left leg around. If you've got any props there, you can set them aside. You're setting up for Shavasana. If you have your props, a really sweet one to do here would be block under the bolster, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Some of you, outward rotation isn't going to feel so good, so you might find that a foot wide knees together position feels good, or legs straight. You can also lay flat down on your back, or even lay down on your abdomen. Either way, you're choosing a position that is working in line with what will be good for you to do in your practice today. So what are the needs of today's practice? But also something that will feel good. So sometimes in my own practice, what I need to do, so maybe some spinal stuff, doesn't necessarily feel good, but I know I really need to do it. Once you've chosen a comfortable rest position, close your eyes, take the breathing out of that supported breath where it's being guided in the practice.
and let it be a resting breath quality. At the end of Shavasana, I will bring you out, so don't worry about timekeeping or any of those elements. I will bring you around. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring back that whisper quality sound and that fullness. As you breathe in this way, feel for the work you've done to awaken the postural muscles of the spine, to wake up your hips and your lower back. And as you connect into what your needs were from today's practice, are there any other things that you can commit to, maybe today or tomorrow, that can help with those parts? Or is there anything else you need to do to feel good? Take some movement into fingers and toes. If you're on your back, set the feet to the floor, knees wide, use your hands to assist the knees in towards each other. Roll to your left. And then use your arms to bring yourself up towards a seated position, maybe kneeling, maybe sitting on props. Bring your hands together at chest. Take a very full inhale. Exhale, bow forwards. Namaste.